who says that? Like, that's not normal. That's things that only we used to thought that like only rich people can do. Like, meet me in Spain for a month. Okay, let's do it. It's like we can do these things. Boom, boom, boom. We got Chase Warrington in the building. He lives in Spain. He works remotely. So if you're interested in doing some time in Spain as a remote professional, digital nomad, location independent entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it, his podcast is About Abroad, aboutabroad.com. Check it out if you want to learn more about living in Spain and a bunch of other stuff about working remotely. He's also head of business development at Doist.com. They make that productivity app called Todoist. I've definitely heard of that. Also another one called Twist. They're a remote team. So yeah, he's one of those guys that works remotely, lives in Spain, and kind of lives that life. So yeah, Chase, what's up?
Trying to live the life like you, Riley, man. That's the real dream. So yeah, I'm here at Spain, loving it right now. Got summer going on, and hoping to do some travel again this year. Looking forward to that.
Awesome, nice. I'm just out here, beautiful Pacific Northwest, just up at the family cabin for the month. Every July, I'll come back for the 4th, hang out with family for the month, and then blast off.
Oh, that's the dream, man, to come back, like spend a month with the family, see everybody, all your friends and stuff. And especially in a place like that, like I was saying, that I want to be there right about now.
Yeah. Summer's good. Summer's good to be back. But I've been skipping the gray fall and winter for, it's going to be 7 years now. But for people that don't know you, what brought you to Spain, and what's so good about Spain, and why'd you choose it for someone that's like typing in living in Spain, or more information about that on YouTube?
So Spain has a visa called the Non-Lucrative visa, which was set up for like retirees, I guess. Yeah, like people with a fixed income basically coming from another country. But that works for remote workers and digital nomads now, because if you have an income coming in from another country and you can show that you can support yourself, then Spain's like, yeah, sure, come on in. So it's not like a digital nomad visa. There's a bunch of those coming out. It's not set up for us, but it works for us. And so anyway, so my wife and I found out about this. We were looking to make, we had been like visa hopping all around a bunch of different countries for a while. And we have like a 50-pound Siberian Husky that was traveling with us, which was becoming a pain in the ass to move around with. Mm-hmm. So we decided like, hey, let's settle down somewhere. Let's at least be in one place for like maybe a year. Even if it's just one country, we don't have to like fly with him and figure out ferries and rental cars and trains with a huge wolf dog. So we found this visa in Spain. We wanted to learn some more Spanish, and we said, let's go to Spain for a year. And so we did that 3 years ago. Nice. And we just renewed our visa to be here for another 2 years. So we'll be at least 5 in Spain.
Nice. So, where are you in Spain? And why did you choose that?
So we landed in Valencia. We had traveled through Spain a good bit before, like on other trips, but we had never been to Valencia. And we had like multiple friends that we had met while in Spain before, saying like, you should try, like independently of each other, like you should try Valencia. We think you'd dig it there. And so we were like, all right, we'll start our trip there. We'll go for 3 months, and then we'll go to Barcelona for 3 months and some other places. And we got here and we were just like, yeah, we like this. It's got the Mediterranean vibe. It's like about 1 million person city. So it's like big enough where you got enough stuff going on, and international airport where you can just travel real quick. Like I can get to most of Europe on a direct flight for pretty cheap, and quick flights back to the US if we want to do that. And yeah, I mean, it really ticked a lot of the boxes for us. So we're like, yeah, this is pretty good. Awesome weather, 300 days of sunshine, something like that. They talk about a lot. And still got some of that like old, that like the European charm, like you can see in some of those pictures, like the little windy streets and old buildings and Roman architecture and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It was, we got here, we thought, yeah, this will be fun for a couple months. And it's just been it's been awesome. Like it's a great place for like during normal times, you know, outside of COVID, we could we were traveling like 3 or 4 months out of the year, but just kind of using this as a home base and enjoying the Mediterranean life.
Yeah, Mediterranean vibe. I can kind of relate it. We did a Split, Croatia, which is it's Adriatic Sea, but you know, over here, right there on the coast, same but different.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm dying to go there, man.
Yeah. We're gonna be there next month, back there in Split. Oh yeah, there's my saved favorite nightclub. Carpe Diem. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Is there like a digital nomad community there / remote worker, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, there's a growing scene, I guess you would say. Like it's when I got here a couple years ago, it was kind of cool because it didn't feel like there was much of what, like it felt pretty Spanish, which was cool in its own way. And then starting to get more and more, especially with like more people working remotely, it's blowing up. So you're seeing a lot more people traveling through, spending a couple months here. But yeah, there's some meetup groups. There's some like, Facebook groups dedicated to getting people together, people that go and work together. There's some pretty awesome co-workings here. So yeah, you definitely have that scene.
Yep. Nice. Okay. So this visa is a thing. You're American or?
Yeah. I'm from North Carolina.
Okay, cool.
Guess that's the last place I lived.
Nice. I actually did door-to-door sales there one summer.
Where were you?
Outside of Charlotte, out in Charlotte.
In
Charlotte suburbs. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that you were doing before you started doing this. You were doing sales, and like then you started on this digital nomad trail, man, and just like living the dream.
Yeah. Door to door to online sales is way better, as you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So Spain, very interesting. What are if someone is looking at Spain, what are the other kind of hotspots that nomads go to?
So the obvious ones are Madrid and Barcelona. Valencia is the third biggest city behind those two, and Barcelona is like huge scene there. But some maybe like off the beaten track kind of places that are a little bit less known that I think could be up and coming. The Canary Islands are sweet. I just got back. I went and spent February there. Cool little group of islands down in the Atlantic off the coast of Africa that are technically part of Spain. So this, this visa works for there. Huge growing digital nomad scene in Las Palmas de Gran Canaria. Those little islands are like super small, and you've got like every ecosystem you can possibly imagine in these tiny little islands. So we bounced around there, spent some time in the islands, and definitely recommend there. Granada down in the south, and the Andalusia is awesome. Super Spanish vibe there. It's a city of like 250,000, something like that. With a lot to love. Sevilla is another big one, big student city. Up in the north is San Sebastian, which is like so sweet. Awesome weather on that North Sea up there in the corner there, right by France. And to the west of or east of Bilbao there, Donostia, San Sebastian. Yeah, those are a couple other spots that are like, there's enough there, they're smaller cities. There's enough there though to like where you have some culture, some people coming in from other countries. You got surfing or hiking or skiing or whatever, that are a little bit off the beaten path, but you can get a lot out of those places.
Nice. I've heard about the Canary Islands. I had a friend that go there, check out the digital nomad scene. Definitely interested in checking that out. Is Ibiza, isn't that in Spain?
Yeah. So that I was going to mention like those little islands you've got there. Those are the Balearic Islands, and they're all awesome. They're all super distinct too. So like Ibiza's, they all have gorgeous beaches. So like Ibiza, if you want to party, Formentera, if you just want to sit on a beach at like the most beautiful beaches. Menorca is super like wild in terms of like, jungle-y kind of thing. Nice. So they're all like a little different, but sweet. I mean, just beautiful beaches.
Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of coast. Yeah. You can't go wrong probably.
And
Yeah,
from
we were
Valencia there,
interested in hitting a
uh,
quick Ibiza party run. Just obviously never been there.
it's a good time, man. And from Valencia, that like one of the things I love is that flight to any of those
Oh yeah,
islands
it's right
is like
there.
a direct flight, like 30 minutes, and normally like $20 or $30 or something. And there's a ferry that
Yeah.
goes out there too, but like it's just super accessible. If you don't want to actually live on the island, but you want to go every weekend, you could totally do that.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. Sweet. Sweet. Okay. So to show up as an American, just as a tourist, what do you get? Like 90 days or something, or?
Yep. Yeah, you get 90 days to be in the whole, pretty much the Shenzhen area, but like,
Okay.
all of that core part of Europe. And for this visa, this one in particular, you have to get it ahead of time. So you have to you get it back in your home country. So for us, it would be in the US, and they issue it to you, and then you're allowed to go for a year, and then you have to renew it every year. But otherwise, you could just show up for 90
Okay.
days and
That's
just hang out.
okay. Got it. So that's the one that you're talking about. It gets you a year, just pre-apply, and you got it pretty much, pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's straightforward. Like if you can Google non-lucrative visa, find it online. They have the steps. You work with your local consulate in the US, and it's not easy. I mean, it took us several months, but it's not rocket science either. Like you can
Yeah.
figure it out pretty quick.
Got it. Yep. Okay. Or 90 days. And then, so what's the deal with the Shenzhen zone? Is it like 90 days and then you have to leave, or you leave the whole
Yeah.
Shenzhen zone, or just leave the country?
Yeah, so this is what we were doing before that the reason I brought up the dog, because it's like, it sounds like, oh, 90 days, that's plenty of time. And then you just get out and you come back. You have to leave if you're in for 90 days, you have to be out for 90 days before you leave. So one little like loophole is going to somewhere like that's in Europe, but not in the Shenzhen. So like you could go to Croatia or Ireland. Like we went to Ireland for 3 months and then came back in.
Got it.
So those are some options, but yeah, you got 90 days for the whole area.
Got it. Got it. So you can't just do a visa run to France and come right back. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
unfortunately, man.
Or Lisbon.
Yeah. Some people go to Morocco. That like a lot of people for their visa run, they'll go to Morocco and hang out for 3 months and tour around
Sick.
Northern Africa, and then come back. And
Sick.
the little ferry ride there between like Gibraltar and I mean that literally takes like, I'm trying to remember. It's like a matter of a couple hours, like 2 hours or something. And that's a cool part of Spain too. That's south there.
Nice.
You can land there in Tangier. It's like you're in a whole nother world.
Yeah, I've always wanted to hit Casablanca, hit Morocco. That's very interesting.
I want to go back. I went on a short trip and it was like, I mean, it's like mind blowing because you're literally like eating tapas in Spain. And then like you can see from there. I mean, you can see Africa from there. Like even from Granada on a clear day, like you can, from the mountains there, you can see Africa and you're like, dude, it's just right there. Like, how can it be that different? And it's a whole nother world.
Yeah. Boom. You're welcome to Africa. Sick. And then I'm also curious about Lisbon. I hear that's one of a big digital nomad spot. Have you done time there?
Yeah. Lisbon's probably my favorite, like capital city in Europe. I love Lisbon for the digital nomad scene is huge. And just like the vibe in Portugal is incredible. Also super cheap, even cheaper than Spain in terms of like cost of living. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. I can definitely recommend Lisbon. And there's I can't remember the name of it. I think just north of Lisbon, there's this growing digital nomad scene in this called Etrisha, I think. It's like ETR, something like that. It's just north of Lisbon. But anyway, it's like some people are saying like the next like Bali kind of place in Europe at least.
Ooh. I like you.
You might dig that.
which means basically setting up a tropical paradise with all the amenities, all the smoothie bowls, yoga places.
Yeah.
It's
All the amenities that you could want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I call Bali. I'm like, Bali is just a big retreat in a town. That's Bali for you. Have you done time in Bali?
I haven't, man. It keeps eluding me. I was supposed to go to Southeast Asia last year for the first time, and COVID had other plans. We had a meeting in Singapore that was supposed to take place, and then I was going to bounce off from there. But yeah, all our plans got kind of messed up last year.
Cool. Yep. As they did for many. Okay, cool. So I think I got the vibe on Spain. That is great. So yeah, look into that visa if you want to be there long term, or just do the 90 days and then have that excuse to go check out Morocco or Ireland or Croatia or whatever. So
yeah, it's a good bouncing off point.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, man. The culture here is fun. People like to have a good time. They say like the local thing is like we live in the street, like live in the calle, and there's just always people out having fun. They love to have life here, and like, you know, work kind of comes later. So
yeah, fuck yeah, I love it.
That's what we're all trying to accomplish.
That's what it's all about. Exactly. And then, I was going to ask about speaking Spanish. Like, do you speak on a day-to-day basis? How good is your Spanish? If you know zero Spanish, are you going to be good?
Yeah, you'd be fine showing up with no Spanish. I do speak fine now. Like, I mean, I have Spanish friends that don't speak English, so good enough for that. But I still make a ton of mistakes. Right. And when we first got here, we both barely spoke any Spanish. So. Especially if you go to Barcelona or Madrid, like you have no problems at all. And in Valencia, you'd get by super easy. I know people here that don't speak any Spanish and they're fine. Yeah.
People ask me this question and I'm like, oh yeah, you don't know the language. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to live life. You're just going to die when you showed up. You're going to starve.
Yeah. I want to lie and be like, yeah, you shouldn't come. Like, you know, stay home. You're not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I tell people, like, even if you like, we have this thing. It's called an automatic translator. You walk around with it 24/7. Have you guys seen this before? It's called Google Translate, and now iPhones can do it live time, and it's just like it's too easy nowadays.
It's too easy, man. You totally don't. It's just if you want to learn, you can, and if not, then it's super easy to get by.
Yeah. You'll be.
What about when you're traveling in Southeast Asia though? Like, do you have to pick up much of the local language, or you just
no
not
at all. Don't need it. It's I'm sure it's same. You know, customer facing businesses and stuff, they speak English because that's their job. You're at a restaurant, that's their job. They speak to foreigners every day. And then I just learn and pick up stuff because it's just fun and I enjoy language, and some people do, some people don't, but I prefer to speak it because it's just more fun to speak it when I can.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope to make it over there, man. I'm dying to. I'm like, it's funny how when you've been in one area of the world for a long enough time, it starts to kind of feel like home. And people that like to travel a lot, like you and I do, like you get those itchy feet. You're like, I gotta go somewhere else, man. I gotta try something new. Yeah. So
Southeast Asia, it's like, it's just, it's so good. It's like, what more can you ask for? But being remote, as you know, it makes the world bigger, but then smaller at the same time. Like, it's smaller because you can be anywhere like within 24 hours, but it's also bigger. It's like, oh my God, now there's all these places I can check out. Like, the world is now your oyster.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, man.
It's
like you have so many more options, and then you're like, where do I go now?
Exactly. Like, I'm looking at all these places, and I'm like getting excited, and I'm just like, oh, calm down. Okay. Like, life is long. Like, you don't need to rush. Like, there's all these places, and then boom, we have this whole fucking universe over here. It's called South America. I haven't even touched this aside from Medellin for like 1 week. That's a whole nother freaking universe, but don't need to go down there. And then boom, we have this whole freaking universe here. Just did one trip to Kenya and I already missed going back to Africa. Like I want to do so much more time there. Have you been to Africa at all?
No, well, just Morocco. And yeah, that's it. Like, I'm like, when am I going to find the time to do all these? Like you said, life is long. So you got to just like wait it out. But then you try to weigh that against like, I want to go back, like all these places you have starred on here. Like some of them you're like, don't you want to go back there? Like I want to experience that place again, and trying to weigh that against going to a new place. And people will say like, oh, you've seen a lot of countries, but like, there's a whole bunch of shit in there that I haven't seen yet, and I need to get there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I tell people like you will never visit everywhere in the world. Like there's been some people, you know, like the Drubinskys and whatnot that visited every country, but like you'll never visit every city. Like the world is infinite, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've really tried to like just settle into like, you know, some places I just like going back to. I try to make time to get back there and see those, like every couple years, experience some of them again, but keep mixing in new places too.
For sure. Nice. So we have a good grip on Spain. If I'm listening to this, I know the lowdown. Let's see what other questions would I be asking. Like, so you work a remote job. What was the journey like? You were telling me before, like at first you had to work from home, but they didn't allow you to live in another country. What was that negotiation like with your boss or whatever? And any tips that you could share to maybe people trying to make that a reality? And then how did you find this completely remote job? And what was that like?
Yeah, so I had like a regular job where I was working remote at a company where I was like one of the few people working remote. Everybody else was in the office, so I already kind of had some freedom there that like was on the edge for the company. And but I still had to live in the States. I still had to live even like within a state or two border. Like I needed to be able to drive to the office if needed, which after a while still felt too restrictive. So I tried to pitch the like let me just work from wherever thing. Like this is like 7 years ago, and it got some traction. Like I put together a pretty good plan. I was pretty thorough about it. Like, here's how I can make it work. Here's the hours. Here's how you can track that I'm working, all this stuff. And I thought I almost had it. Like I thought it was going to work out, but it ultimately just kind of felt too far for the company. They couldn't make it work. I'd be the only one doing it, which I knew would be a bit hard. So I was like, all right, so we're not going to do that. So I left and just went and traveled for a year, bounced around a bunch of different countries and tried to figure out what I was going to do next. And then I found this company that said, literally, you can work from wherever you want. We don't hire based on location. So if you're willing to come on board with a startup and take a chance and do that, let's see if it works out. So I did that, and
nice.
And it has worked out. Like the company's done well, and you know, I'm kind of like in a good place with the balance with life and how I can work. I travel about 3 or 4 months out of the year normally, and then spend the rest of the time here in Spain. And so it's worked out well that way. Yeah,
that's a sweet setup. Like travel 3 to 4 months of the year. It's like it's the new way. It's the new way. Like the old way, 2 weeks of vacation. The new way, 3 to 4 months of vacation per year. Like come on, guys, get amongst.
Yeah, I don't need like I don't have to like be off of work for.
Yeah, and then vacation. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what is that?
Yeah, like I'll take a vacation. I'm like, I don't mind if working a little bit. I like to disconnect, completely. But like, it doesn't feel so like I used to take like a 5-day trip and come to Europe. Like I remember my wife and I like came to Italy. Like we bought tickets and flew from the US and we're there like did like 3 cities in 6 days. And like, we're back to work on a Monday. And I was just like exhausted, didn't really enjoy my time. Like just ate bad food, probably, like, just didn't really get to enjoy it. And now I'm like, all right, well, like if we want to go spend a month in Italy and like settle into it, then we'll do that. I'll be working too, but that's fine. Like I'm enjoying the life.
Yeah. The Airbnb lifestyle, like it's too easy nowadays. It's like, yeah, let's do a month in this place. It's like a month is the new, week, like, or whatever.
You get that monthly discount. You got to take it. Yeah.
It's too easy. Like I think about like, it's when you have this freedom, it's like, it's just, hey, XYZ friends or like other couple, hey, you want to meet me in fucking Mallorca for a month this summer? Like, we'll get an Airbnb villa. Like, who says that? Like, that's not normal. That's things that only we used to thought that like only rich people can do. Like, meet me in Spain for a month. Okay, let's do it. It's like you can do these things.
I know, yeah, and it still sounds kind of ridiculous to say out loud sometimes. Like I say it, I'm like, oh wait, I can say that? Yeah, I guess I am doing that. And it doesn't feel like, you definitely don't have to be rich. I mean, you definitely don't have to like have some like, you don't have to found some tech company to do it. Like you can have some pretty regular skills and live that side of life, which I think is pretty sweet. Because it seemed totally like for you and I probably like 15 years ago, this just totally sounded ridiculous to even think about. Like, no, dude, you're going to be working outside of Charlotte, like selling, TV boxes. That's the next step in life.
Exactly.
And,
exactly. Everyone wants to travel the world, as you know. So it's like now we can actually do it with these times, and be quote unquote working at the same time. It's the flexibility to go meet your friends for a month in Spain if you want to, like the ability to be kind of mobile and take those spontaneous trips or opportunities. That's a huge thing too.
That's it. Yeah, man. That's all. Like, it's just having the ability to do it is like all I was asking for, and all a lot of people want. And I mean, like more people are getting that opportunity now, like all the shift to remote work and companies going fully remote, and some are saying you got to stay in the US or their home country, but a lot of people are going to have this opportunity now, and it's going to be interesting to see how that changes things. But yeah, I'm glad, man. Like I want everybody to have this opportunity, because it wasn't accessible, that it didn't feel accessible at least that long ago.
Yep. The wave is here, and then Corona just accelerated it. People working from home, by force, or companies or whatever forced to let people work from home. So what I want to do more videos on is to help people go the next step. So let's say their company is now work from home because of Corona, but they want to, as people start going back into the office, how to negotiate to stay working from home and then take the next step to be able to work from abroad. Any tips that you can share in terms of like, did you put together like a PowerPoint presentation, or any tips?
Yeah. So basically I did, like, at the time there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. Now, fortunately, anybody trying to do this would have a lot at their disposal to build up a pretty nice presentation on how to do this, because there's like technology out there to show you can track the time that you're putting in, track your results. There's awesome, software that's in place just to make video calls super easy and collaboration with teammates. So what I would say is like, do just the bare, I mean, you don't even have to do a lot. You can Google these things and be like, tools to make remote work, and put together all the ways in which, like, put yourself in the boss's shoes. What do they want? They want to know that you're working and to know that you're providing results, and then figure out how to show them that you can do that from anywhere, and that you're not going to, slack off and like just not show up anymore. Which is really never the case. Like if you're given that freedom, you're going to be excited about it. You're going to, appreciate it and show that in your work usually. So I've not seen like the fear from these people is usually like, you're going to get this job. You're going to Brazil, and then you're going to never come back and you're going to stop working. It's like, why? You just gave me a job that lets me work in Brazil. Why would that happen? That doesn't work at all. So yeah, I mean, just put yourself in their shoes, give them what they want to hear. It should work out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies are just going remote anyway, though. Like they're just like, yeah. And then the cool thing is you got plenty of opportunities to find other companies that'll hire you and let you work wherever now. So you've got leverage.
The marketplace is now, companies have started to know this for years. But COVID just accelerated it, the competition now, because companies have to offer this now, or they'll start getting, the employees will start leaving.
Yeah. It's like not a perk anymore. It's like, it's like, okay, you got 401k, dental, and where can I work from? Like anywhere, right?
Yeah. Flexible schedule, work my own hours and work from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, no. Oh shit. So yeah. Wow. Interesting work revolution going on right now. And then of course it, also comes down to your trust with your boss, your employer, your manager, or whatever it is. So of course you got to build trust with them, show some results. I mean, this comes from the 4-hour work week. That's like 2007. All this stuff, like the little trials. Let's start with 1 day a week at home. And then he was like, all right, now 2 days a week at home. And then he's like, what did Tim Ferriss like went off to Spain or Argentina or whatever the fuck, and like didn't even say anything, or maybe he was running his own company still at that time, but like, and no one noticed.
Yeah.
So
he like outsourced everything, right? He fired a couple of his customers, and then, a couple of his customers. It was like, I'm not working with you anymore. You guys don't email me unless the thing's burning down, and I'll see you in a year. And it worked out, right? Like, I read that. I think you did a video. Did you do a video recently, Riley, where you said like you reread that book? Was that you?
I mean, not recently, but I have a few videos over the years talking about 4-hour work week.
I wasn't. I think I saw that, and that's one that, like, if you go back and read it again now, you're like, oh, this all seems so possible now. Like, if you read it in 2007, you're like, okay, Tim Ferriss can do this, but can I do this? And now it's like, oh yeah, this is totally doable.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, 2007. And then like, I'm just gonna throw it out there, like, people have 1 week vacation, 2 week vacation time, like, go to wherever you want to go, and then like be secretly working during that time, and then show your boss, hey, I was in Spain and I got all this. I don't know, just throwing ideas out there, like, just to prove it that, like, even if you're not on the same time zone or whatever, you can still be good. And then that is a thing for a lot of companies, the time zone thing, which is definitely something to take into account. Like, if you're in Europe, then you're on a different time zone, but there is overlap. If you're on Southeast Asia, then you're on like totally opposite, like 12 hours ahead. For me, running an agency now, I've actually always been a night owl, work from like 10 p.m. Those late night sessions, 10 at night to like 2 a.m. I've always worked those times, like, even before I had an agency. So it works out, but that's definitely something to consider, which Europe is actually, it's nice. When we were in Europe for last summer, like, there's still, you're like 6 hours ahead of US. So in your late afternoons, early evenings, you're on US time. So there's still, during the daytime, there's still overlap.
Yeah. Where are the people you're working with most? Like, where are they located?
They're in US. My clients are in US. So.
Okay.
So from
that works out good. From
like 10 at night to like 1 a.m. I'm like taking calls. So it is a thing, but I'm lucky that happened to be my normal work schedule. But if you're on calls and stuff like that, definitely something that you guys need to consider, which is huge. Plus, if that's your situation for Latin America, South America, it's because it's the same time zone as US.
Yeah, totally. That's something to definitely be cognizant of. Like, I've actually talked to someone who didn't really take that into account, and they moved to Asia, and they were like, yeah, I wasn't really thinking how bad this is going to suck. Like, I have to work at like 3 a.m. all the time. And so it didn't work out for them very well. But yeah, if you're a night owl like you, then that doesn't work. I mean, that doesn't mess you up too bad.
Yeah. I mean, and it also helps that I set my own schedule. Like I can set my call blocks. So, and I, any day that I don't want to take calls that night, I just block that out. And so it's different whether like you have required meetings every night at 3 a.m. That would be bad. I wouldn't even be able to do that like that. Maybe 1 a.m. like that'd be fine because I'm a night owl. I usually crash it like anyway. That's just my internal clock. But yeah, definitely something to consider there, guys. Okay. Cool. What do you do for your company? What is that? And what is your schedule like? I'm curious. Is it like you're totally flexible, just get your work done every day, or do you have to use like a time tracker or a daily meeting or?
No, we have like a pretty flexible, like we don't track hours. We don't care when people are working. We don't hire like based on location or try to sync people up. So we pretty much just work totally off the books. Like, you know, when basically just get your stuff done every day, every week, every month. Yeah. We don't even have like daily check-ins or anything like that. So I mean, I kind of structure my day. Like I work for a couple hours in the morning. I take a long break in the middle of the day, go to the gym, have lunch, enjoy the afternoon, and then come back and work a couple hours in the evening and just make sure things are moving along nicely.
Sweet. Yeah. Take that little siesta in the afternoon.
Yeah. If I could find time for a siesta, lunch with friends, maybe go to the beach. It's like just enjoying the good hours of the day, not focusing too much on work.
Yeah, exactly. It's that life work balance for sure. like how many hours do you have your laptop open, like working on work?
Probably like 30 a week, something like that.
6 hours a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Like I do. That's somewhere around that. Maybe that's a strong week, but that's somewhere in that range. Well. That's cool. I mean, it's that's awesome. Like you and being like in an entrepreneurial space, like being able to manage that. Cause I think a lot of people like it's easy for me to do that when the organization supports that sort of lifestyle. But like a lot of entrepreneurs are burn themselves out because they're hungry. You want to make money. You want to keep maximizing. And you've managed to like keep yourself from falling too far into that trap and like still mostly enjoying life and just working where it can.
Exactly. And then of course the dream is to 4-hour work week talk is to spend most of your time doing what excites you, what you like doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. That's the whole point of the 4-hour work week is only 4 hours per week you're working on quote unquote work, which is stuff you'd rather not be doing. Focus. Yeah,
that's the thing. They see that title and they're like, only 4 hours work. It's like, well, 4 hours of the stuff you don't want to do. There's always stuff you don't want to do. Like, even if you love what you're doing, like I couldn't go, I love going paddleboarding out at the beach, but I can't paddleboard for 40 hours a week. I would go crazy. So it's just like the stuff you don't want to do, which is always going to be there.
Yeah. Like this for you and I is not work. And so, Tim Ferriss has the podcast and the YouTube channel and writes books. He's like, well, he's doing that every day. It's like, that's not work to him. That's what he likes doing. That's what he chooses to do.
Like exactly like you said, like this, I mean, I could talk to people that are living cool lives like you are. Like that's what I do on my podcast. I'm more talking to people that are like settled, like about how they settled into a country and how they made the move there, kind of like expat, settle in, move and all that stuff. And like, I could talk to those people and people like you that are like living in different countries about what life's like in those places. Like, you don't have to pay me to do that. I'm lucky. Monetize it a little bit, but like, it's not really like work at all.
Yeah, exactly. Which that's the dream. Like, long term. And it's like build this podcast up and be like a Tim Ferriss, or
Yeah.
That's his full-time monetization is just his podcast and books and presence, social media, whatever, and just monetizes that, has sponsors, that makes him a full-time living. And of course he's an investor. That's the goal. Have your money be working for you, and then just spend like your days and your weeks just doing what you like doing, and writing, creating podcasts, just kind of do whatever excites you.
Have you listened to any of his recent podcasts? He's spending like a ton of his time like walking around in the woods, looking at trees with like botanists and stuff. That's what he feels like doing right now. So that's what he's into. It's awesome.
Yeah. Seeing his YouTube videos, just like out in the woods, just like, sharing some tips here and there. Like
this is a particular type of mushroom. Like, all right, cool, man. Yeah. Like that's what you're into right now.
I got some tips on this. All right, let's make a YouTube video. Got a camera person. All right, let's batch out videos for the next 3 months. Okay. No, I'm just, exploring life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the goal. And like people listening, like by no means am I living the 4-hour work week, but of course that's the goal. And so building up the podcast and like the YouTube channel is like the long-term game. If I can make that a full-time thing, quote unquote, in 5-10 years, then, to support my living, and then have your businesses running, have my agency and, my courses or whatever business is running, have those outsourced, mostly, and then take the capital to be an investor. Really, I'm just following the Tim Ferriss life plan. Yeah.
There's a playbook for this. Like we're just trying to achieve it too in different ways, but like, that's the dream, man. I mean, it's not a bad path to follow. It's worked well for Tim.
Yep.
You seem to be on the right path though, man. Like watched some of your videos and heard some of your other interviews, and I know like you got the Amazon thing going, which is sweet. If you can figure that out, like that's pretty epic. So you're on the way, it seems.
Yeah, Amazon's there, working on Amazon stuff every day. The agency is started 2 years ago, so it's new. In the past, we were just selling our own products, but now we're doing the agency. So agency life, on the phone more. But had our biggest month last month, and we're a full-time team of 8 people now, obviously remote. And it's going good.
That's awesome, man. Is everybody spread out, or are you guys all like together?
Yeah, it's two full-time American employees, 2 full-time European employees, and 3 full-time Philippines.
Nice.
And then us 2 founders, Americans.
Wow.
So 9 people total.
So you've got the Amazon shop, the agency, and how much work is in the Amazon? Like how much of your week's hours are in the Amazon shop?
Pretty much none. We have a weekly call. So we just had right before here. That's why I was a little bit late. It's our weekly team call, and just our PPC guy Ryan in Utah. Him and Brett are both there, and we have a small little office space there in Utah. They just manage the Amazon ads for my own product. So they just give us a weekly update. Okay, what do we want to do with inventory? It's like, I talk 15 minutes a day about my own product. or a week, I mean.
Yeah.
That's
not too bad, man. That's 4-hour work week-esque.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very, very automated. And so we're like, we got this time. How can we create another stream of income, just per 4-hour work week again? You have the physical product, the digital product. Already have that with my Amazon course, and that's going to be kind of relaunching. We've actually had that since 2016, kind of in the background. Very, very, don't really promote it much, but I get some students there from my social media. And then the services, so kind of physical, digital services, all 3. And then of course you want to have investments as well, making you money. So diversified income streams, as they say.
Have that money working for you. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. That's what you really want to be. And of course that's where Tim Ferriss is he's got, of course, the investments making him the big millions.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, cool. that was a good hour. I think we covered a
we
lot.
flew through that.
Yeah. Any final thoughts or any final tips or you want to get out there to people?
No, I mean, as far as Spain goes, there's actually lots of like the kind of general consensus is like, oh, Europe's really hard to stay in for Americans and non-Europeans basically. But there's a lot of options actually that just fly a little bit under the radar. I know when I was looking into, like, I wanted to come to Europe and spend some time, and it was really defeating at first. You're like, there's no options. Like, how can I do this? But there's actually, I've met people that are doing it in a lot of different ways. So just, yeah, you got to think outside the box. Like this visa is set up for retirees, for instance, but I'm like, oh, I kind of match the criteria. There's, I know people that have come here on, like, they signed up for a Spanish course, they came on a student visa, and they're able to stay for a year. Yeah. And they're just like studying Spanish at a little Spanish school, but they're able to stay for a year. So anyway, like there's options, and there's more and more of these digital nomad visas popping up. Croatia's got one, Germany's got one, and they're just more and more. So, don't be defeated by the concept of not being able to stay in Europe. There's options if you want them.
Yep. Exactly. We got options out there, motherfuckers. Cool. So yeah, check out aboutabroad.com, subscribe to his podcast, and follow him on whatever, YouTube and Instagram you're also on.
Yep. Yeah, all that stuff. I'm working on the social media aspect. It's not my thing as much, but I'm working on it. So yeah, website's best place to go at first, and then find me from there. But yeah, man, thanks for having me on. Very cool to meet you finally, and learn a little bit more about what's going on in your world too. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. We'll connect on Instagram, and stay in touch there, and maybe catch you around the world. Yeah, man. Sounds good. All right, for sure. Living that life. We just living that life. Talking plus, living that life. We just living that life. You're listening to the Living That Life Digital Nomad podcast. Hit the subscribe button on iTunes if you're a boss, and check out the YouTube channel for dope travel videos. Let's get it.